back with another video, and I was thinking a lot today, as I always do, about just human behavior and how I think employers need to take a realistic view or a realistic look and approach to how they deal with the people who work within their company. And I have always believed that the social sciences do apply in management. You don't have to have any deep knowledge of it, but I do believe that certain codes of ethics should be applied to the work environment, so that way you can sort of modify or maintain human behavior and the reactions of certain individuals. So I was thinking today about how in my life, as an individual, a person who believes in being an individual, I do believe very strongly that people in the work environment are likely, or any environment really, are likely to judge you based on things relating to your race, your religion, your marital status, these sort of things, and that is why it's written into the law. However, we need a better approach on how we, and a more honest look at how we view things. And I think companies need to take a better measure on how to eliminate some of the hostile behaviors that occur in the workplace. Oftentimes, management is responsible. In all the places that I've had where that goes for being over at the farmer's place, over at the florist place, the mining company, all these things were not kept from the employees, okay? Now, they shouldn't have known that much about me anyway, okay? But all these jobs were already set against me because of my stalkers, okay? But let's just say, for example, I was just a person coming in, we could take away the stalkers, okay? And let's just say, for example, a particular manager had an issue with me. They didn't like the fact that I had kept my maiden name. They didn't like the fact that I was a person of color, even though why would they have hired me in the first place? But still, if these issues are a concern of theirs, their biggest problem is sharing that information with people who are underneath them. You should never do that with subordinates, ever. Because the managers were basically orchestrating the entire thing. And that is why I've tried to warn people about mobbing and this sort of behavior. It is destructive. And now, sure enough, it evolved. The same person I was originally talking to, which was Laura Hill, I was talking to her about my mobbings. I have a few letters that I've saved. When I wrote to her, I said something was really weird. I had an Orwellian issue going on. And I was telling her this stuff, but she probably thought it was okay because, hey, her family is behind this, okay? There are such things as domestic stalking, and this is what it is. So people need to understand that these things exist, okay? And they need to be able to know how to work through these things, and that's my biggest issue. And some of my experiences, being managed by people, even going back to, and I'm starting to realize exactly how far my family has been stalking me. It's become normal to them to follow me around and think and want to be a part of what I do. And if we had an open relationship, me and my siblings, to where we had a close knit. I always thought that I cared about my family, but I never really thought of us as close knit to where they knew exactly what I was doing at every stage of my life. Because there's been times when I moved away from them, or just even when we were in the family, living at home, there were certain things that I would do, especially when you were all going to different schools or whatever. How would you know? You know what I mean? So I don't really consider myself as to where I would welcome them on some of my journeys in life, okay? So people need to understand about domestic stalking, and the fact that these people thought that they had the authority, and what they were doing, they were not avenging, like I said, these people were not avenging my mother at all. If you would have heard the things that came out of their mouth, you would know that I'm dealing with 100% racism. Steve Murray is a racist, okay? And he wasn't actually doing any favors for my family at all. This man said things to me that I felt were really inappropriate, and he encouraged that behavior in his employees, and that was wrong. And not only that, after I left, he decides to continue to do this stuff. I don't want to go into it. There's really no reason for me to. I want to get behind all of that. But my point is that these little things could trigger racism in people. And so it's these little things that trigger people and set people off, you know. So I was thinking about, you know, black people, you know. You'd be surprised. I don't personally believe, I don't get involved with group think. I just don't, okay? Do I believe that black people as a whole are suffering and that we are victims of discrimination? I would say yes, okay? I'm a good example of that. Okay, but when it comes to my personal problems, I don't personally put a lot of stock in black people thinking that black people are going to help me or give me a hand, even when I'm dealing with a racist situation, okay? So like a couple days ago, yesterday, it was, a lady called me from a major temp agency, and she was offering me a position knowing, and this woman knows, everybody in this town knows, okay, I don't have a master's degree, okay? But she offers me this, she talks to me about this bookkeeping job that's supposed to, the owner's requiring a master's degree, okay, which I thought was really stupid, and I think I covered that in my last video. Okay, and then I also went to an employment agency where a black man interviewed me and gave me the runaround, you know, took me off my course and wanted me to spend time having an interview with him and didn't help me at all, okay? So oftentimes, you know, people of your own race, okay, will turn around and exploit you if they feel as if it's a benefit to them. If she was a part of this group think or whatever, and she felt like, you know, doing this, which I consider it a form of harassment at this point, okay? She knows that this has been going on. She knows by her presenting this to me, it is another form of a trauma-inducing issue to where she's sending a message to me, well, you know what, you just can't do this. And I'm sorry, but I have every right to do whatever I want to do. And why would you call me and offer me something that, you know, and she knows, I met with her before. And I'm not bashing her, but I'm just using these two people as an example of, you know, how I personally believe a lot of beliefs and ideas of unifying and people pulling together to help other people is bullshit, okay? I've never had any faith in it at all. And don't get me wrong, that's not to say that I don't care about my own people, okay, because I obviously do, and I'm fully aware of our issues, and I throw myself in there because I am a black woman. I identify with these issues, okay? But to think that other people are going to pull together and help you is just absolutely ridiculous, okay? So no, I don't look for support. I look for, my only support I'm ever going to get in this world is from me, 100%. So I want to talk about my future goals. My future goals haven't changed, okay? I would prefer a job in a management position, but I would take a bookkeeping position as well, if it pays within my range, and it also allows me to go back to school. You know, I also would be open to working in a certified public accountant's office, managing their office, taking orders, whatever, organizing the customer files, and while I'm doing that, I can go back to school and then also have the CPA support me by, you know, being a proctor to me, you know, when exams come around, and then also helping me, I believe there is a requirement, or it's not customer requirement, but you can actually get a little bit more advanced if you work underneath a certified public accountant. So that's what I would like to do. And these are the things that I want. What happened to me is, I would call it a tragedy, okay? Basically, my siblings made my life, when I was younger, a living hell. So I didn't go to school. So a lot of people think when people did school that their first assumption is, what is it, you don't understand? I fully understood, okay? I fully understood. But sometimes the social environment can get so intense and so depressing for a person, they don't want to be there. They really don't. So I just wasn't there. And so I managed to pick myself up and take responsibility, full responsibility for my child, and these people wanted to come back and smack me down again. I believe it was probably one of my siblings that probably said, well, you know, she needs to get her bachelor's degree. You know what? Stay out of my shit, okay? You've already done enough damage, okay? My family, I'm done with them. I am cutting them off for my own well-being. And some people might think, well, gosh, don't you think you're going to regret that? No, I will not, okay? There's something inside of me that is, even thinking about these people, just generates all kinds of, like, feelings of disgust and just fear, okay? So the answer is no. I don't ever want to see any of my family again. Period. I'm done. I think they went too far. Okay? It's one thing to mess my life in school up, and then you're going to turn around and try to make it very difficult for someone who's been working in accounting for 20 years to give me another blow like that. No. The answer is no. I don't want to see them. But I do have a strategy plan, and this is what I would like to do. I mean, do I have to know more about accounting? If I want to be a certified public accountant, yes, I do, because I do want to get more involved with taxation. And what else? There's just certain things I personally believe, okay? Even after 20 years, I would be a great person to work as an accountant, like a accountant for a company, but I don't know everything a CPA knows, okay? So I would like to be a certified public accountant, and that is my final request. There are still dreams and goals that I have I've been wanting to do. I've been wanting to form professional groups and things like that, and I'm not sure if that's going to work out now because, of the gang stalking. I mean, these people have trampled on everything that I have planned for myself, and that is, it's truly tragic, okay? So like I said, they abused me when I was a kid, and they come back as an adult, and, I didn't realize I was abused until just starting to realize what has happened, and I'm looking back at all these things that have happened, and I remember people telling me, don't you think it's weird that your family's reached you and says they do these kind of things? But I never realized it. Yeah, my family's abusive, and so maybe they don't even realize it. Maybe it's just normal to them, okay? But whatever the deal is, I'm done. So, I'm hoping, that my videos are helping a little bit. I am 45 years old, which, like I said, I have no problem telling people that I'm 45 years old because, hey, check out this skin. It's great. At this age, I should be secure in a position. I should be secure and do I really have to go back to school? No, but I really want to be a certified public accountant. So, because I feel like I know enough. But I would, what was I going to say? At my age, this sort of thing is extremely devastating. And that's one of the reasons why, some target individuals consider suicide, because at this age, it's very difficult, especially, when you have all these rumor mills going on, people hating on you, and thinking that, passing you up for jobs that you're qualified for, and you're getting older. And I don't know, maybe it was one of my family's ideas, like I said, to either rip me away from my husband, or maybe they wanted to set me up with somebody else who they thought was going to pay all my bills. I mean, that to me is weird, okay? But some people get married for those reasons, okay? And some people would say, well, her husband doesn't make as much as her, which is intrusive for that, so he can be thrown out in public, okay? But you know what? I really love him, okay? So when you marry for love, sometimes that's just the way it is. Now, some women want a man who's going to support them, or, and he does contribute. Don't get me wrong, he does contribute, okay? But my point is that, that's one of the reasons why you can't discriminate against your marriage, okay? You can't do that. I'm entitled to be married to who I want, okay? And I don't put a lot of emphasis on frivolous things, okay? He listens to me, and we have our arguments, we have our disagreements, but I've never felt closer to anybody else in my life. So I have to be happy, and I am happy. So anyway, and I don't like to talk about, I understand the kind of environment I am. I try to keep my personal business to myself. But that's another issue about, it's another thing that people need to think about, when it comes to the office. People gossip, and this is what has happened to me has gotten out of hand, it's just gotten way out of hand, and enough to where I'm severing ties with my family, and I don't want to see any of these people I knew from my past. And some people say, well, you need help, you need to maybe talk to one of the people you used to work with. These people have shown me a side of them that has disgusted me, and I don't want to see these people again, okay? Like I said, if they see me in the store or something, it'd be better if they don't say anything to me. Anybody that I used to know, it's just, forget it, okay? Because you can't go through this kind of trauma. You cannot go through this kind of trauma and expect to pick up, from where you left off. You basically put me in debt, okay? I remember when I left from Chatsworth, I cashed in my 401 or something like that, my savings plan. Okay, these people have destroyed my life, and they've been doing it for a very long time. Like I said, if you could throw a letter from the IRS in the trash without opening it, you're gonna have problems, okay? Because like I'm not really afraid of somebody trying to, you know, do any credit fraud with me or anything like that, because these people have destroyed my credit too. Okay, so it is a very serious issue, and it's one that has affected my life. They had no right to make those decisions for me, and I am sitting here wondering, you know, are things going to get better? Am I going to have to go and get in a phone call and have somebody harass me? Am I going to have to go to a job interview where I feel like my life is on the line? All of this is a form of harassment, plain and simple. And maybe she didn't realize, the girl who called me, maybe she didn't realize, maybe she thought it was a funny joke. It's not a funny joke. Okay, not when you've been targeted, and maybe, see, and now this person's a person of color, you would think, right? But that's why I have never believed in unity. I mean, like, I do believe that black people need to pull themselves up. I do, and I fully understand that, because I completely support that, okay? But do I believe that I'm going to be supported by another person just because they're black? I've never believed that. It's delusional. I remember my father telling me that when I was younger, and I get it, okay? So in this world, you only have yourself, okay, which I'm fully aware of. I'm fully aware of that. You only have yourself. To believe otherwise is just delusional. So anyway, I think I pretty much covered everything I wanted to say. I do think that, you know, some people say, well, the very fact that you have a job now is you know, a good, because, you know, it shows that you're getting better. Like I said, you know, I'm very grateful to have employment right now. But it has a lot to do with the trauma. It's very traumatizing. It's not a bad place. It's just that, you know what, I deserve more. I deserve more, and it really bothers me that this has happened. And, I mean, it really bothers me that somebody thought that I was going to be happy with an alternative outcome. I mean, everything about me shows that I'm a very happy person. I'm a very happy person. I am. Okay, but my biggest issues that have happened to me have all been social. People have ruined my reputation, you know, people have held stupid things against me and they had no right to, and the very fact that my family and these people from Facebook got together and destroyed my career. That, to me, is extremely devastating, and it's beyond forgiving. Okay, you just cannot forgive somebody for that. So it's time for me to move on, and like I said, I'm dealing with a lot of trauma, a lot. Okay, it's almost like the only way I can explain it is if maybe somebody gang raped you and then told you that your family is dead. Because I feel like my family's dead to me, but there are also people that I don't even know. I mean, that's how weird and freaked out I feel about the whole thing. And then I also feel like people have just taken advantage of me by putting my house under surveillance and letting people in on it. Okay, I feel extremely, you know, I understand how people go postal, okay? I will never do that. But do I understand how people get to that point? I do, okay? What happened to me is a serious crime, serious crime. And so my reactions and the way that I'm feeling and dealing with this and processing all this, I have to be, I'm honest and truthful about the fact that I understand that it seems a little strange to people, but at the same time, for me lying about my race when I was younger, but at the same time, it's a very minor issue, okay, but it brought out the racism in so many people, and it can't be denied. It cannot be denied. And then, I mean, there's just so many issues, which I've talked about them before, but it is very eye-opening, and so I need to start taking care of myself. I mean, like, I need to really be careful about, you know, what I say or anything I say, because that one little conversation that I had with that girl about me not putting a lot of emphasis on sex probably led to this, or at least it's a part of it. I mean, it's a part of a bunch of stuff, but it really does. And I'm not the kind of person. I don't believe people should put emphasis on things that are that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I understand the importance of that, but I'm saying is it should not be the most important thing, okay? Because people get old, okay? Some people who, like, for example, some women who with big boobs, right, their boobs might be sagging and hitting the floor tomorrow, okay? You never know. And so, you know, if you base your relationship on these superficial things, you're going to be very, very sorry, okay? And some women think that they should get married for the sake of their financial future. And, you know, I mean, I can understand how people feel that way. I do understand that, okay? But I remember telling my dad when I was younger, like, if I was a millionaire, I would try to keep it secret, because I wouldn't want to know that all my friends and the guy that I married or whatever would only want me for my money. Okay, I am a person who's been dealing with the negative side of human nature for pretty much all my life, as you can tell. So because I understand this, I'm looking for somebody who is very pure in heart, if that makes sense. And so the average person really doesn't feel that way or behave that way. And you can tell by being in mobbing situations, by being gang stalked, by multitudes of people showing me, demonstrating that they have absolutely no regard for who I am as a person and wants to destroy my life and take away my employment, put me in very bad situations and decide what's supposed to make me happy.